Hi everybody, my name is Susan Schiffelbein. This is my Encourage the Heart Inclusive Leadership video for educational leadership in the spring of 2015. The first article I read was called Inclusive Leadership Effectively Leading Diverse Teams. It was written by Diana Villamoria and it was associated with the Case Western Reserve University online. Something that really helped clarify inclusive leadership for me was that this article compared inclusive leadership style with aggrandizement or more authoritarian leadership style. Whereas inclusive leaders try to seek input and make work meaningful, they serve as stewards, authentically leading, they recognize the skills and talents of their team members, and they treat others fairly. Aggrandizement, or the authoritarian style, is more controlling. They view the teammates or their employees as cogs on a wheel. They're worried about how good they look in the short run as opposed to the system or the process and how good the results are of what they're trying to accomplish. They favor some staff over others, and they might tend to spin information to make themselves look in a favorable light as opposed to giving credit to everyone. A question that arose, and two really great points that this article answered, was how do leaders bring about a sense of inclusion with diverse perspectives and approaches? Number one, they authentically value and respect all individuals for their talents and contributions. Leaders' words and actions should demonstrate an authentic appreciation for the diverse identities, backgrounds, talents, and contributions of all team members. First, though, we have to be aware of our own biases, stereotypes, and mental models that might impede valuing diversity in others. Also, we must really hold others accountable for disrespectful behavior towards each other or behind people's backs. They must show commitment to diversity in hiring, advancement, compensation, and retention practices. In the school setting, sometimes we hear offensive comments that aren't directly pointed at us, but they might be offensive to another diverse culture or a diverse group of people or person, and we don't always know how to handle those comments. So when you recognize your own biases, sometimes we can think about ways that we could address those comments so we're not perpetuating a stereotype. We don't have to be negative in our response or offended in our response. Maybe gently model a better response or help them to see that their comments might be taken offensively. The second point was actively create a high engagement culture by encouraging the input and initiative of all employees. Promote a shared vision and clear paths. Show how shared values are directly related to team outcomes. We should create team conditions that encourage debate and discussion about ideas with a sense of psychological safety. I really liked that phrase because with the point that I told you about maybe trying to turn an offensive comment another way, again, we don't want to make the person who made that possibly innocent comment feel like they're not psychologically safe or that they're not free to say what they want to say because they might be pushed down. So it's a very slippery slope, but we also want people to feel that they can share their concerns and that we're problem solvers, not problem admirers, so to speak. A summary of these thoughts from this article, as they tie into Kouzes and Posner's practices, was that I pulled out that in modeling the way, they really encouraged engaging and energizing people through servant leadership. In Kouzes and Posner's practice of inspiring a shared vision, we should effectively lead diverse teams by creating workplaces where all employees feel valued for who they are, know that their ideas count, and see common goals through a shared vision. In enabling others to act, this article discussed energizing and motivating each employee authentically. In challenging the process, we should help a stagnant culture that's demotivated and de-energized. This article didn't give strategies for doing that so much as they did talk about the philosophical reasons of why that's very important. In Encouraging the Heart, the article talked about bringing out the best in people and encouraging collaboration, support, initiative, and innovative contributions from all individuals. The second article, or video I should say, was a video created by IBM, and it was a strategy they used in teaching their emerging leaders to be inclusive. I really liked the way they did this digitally.
Have you seen how IBM is changing the way leadership education is designed using innovative technology in 3D worlds? Let's have a look. This is a tour of the IBM Virtual Worlds course titled Inclusive Leadership. This course showcases world-class design principles to ensure IBM's emerging leaders have the skills needed to lead and leverage their diverse teams. At the start of the 2-hour session, participants gather in the Leadership Learning Center. Once there, they are invited to position their avatar on a world map, on the country or city in which they live. Seeing each other in this space gives participants a sense of place and connection as they appreciate the global and diverse nature of the class. Next, participants are introduced to a model which examines the 4 progressive stages leading to a diverse environment. Let's have a look how participants assess the teams they lead or are a part of by standing on the step that best represents the stage of their team. The idea is a 3D representation of the model to teach leaders to move through the stages as they learn to value diversity, compliance, tolerance, commitment, and business leverage. A 3D brick wall is a metaphor for the barriers that members of a diversity constituency often face. Participants are invited to break down this wall as they learn how to help the people they lead to address barriers they face at work. Removing barriers helps promote an inclusive environment in which everyone can fully engage and contribute to business objectives. Next, the team move through a series of rooms which simulate real-life work situations and target potential barriers that a member of IBM's diversity constituency might face. A female leader leading an all-male team, a gay consultant in a global role, a wheelchair-bound employee seeking a sales rep job, choosing the right person for a position whilst avoiding age discrimination, balancing work tasks with elder care responsibilities. After completing each immersive activity, the participants gather in a comfortable couch area that resembles a fireside chat. Using the 3D environment in this way encourages participants to share personal experiences and insights from the activity. Participants capture their insights on a 3D interactive whiteboard that allows them to type their comments simultaneously and bring their input back to the main room for a debrief discussion. After the activities, the participants return to the main room for their debrief. This is also an opportunity for the facilitators to add key points, challenge assumptions, and share additional resources. At this point, participants identify actions that they can apply toward becoming a more inclusive leader as they lead their diverse teams. How did participants respond? What did participants say?
3D reinforced cooperative learning and improved the experience for me.
The 3D debrief area provided a relaxed environment to discuss inclusive leadership and share insights.
Avatars created a sense of being part of a real team and helped us work together to complete breakout room activities.
3D helped us identify with the members of these constituencies and what it must feel like to experience these challenges in the workplace.
We hope this tour has shown you one of the ways that IBM is using innovative technology for developing our leaders to lead global and diverse virtual teams.
So using that cutting edge design, or using the way that they presented the avatars all coming together, the cutting edge design principles to ensure that emerging leaders have the skills needed to lead and leverage their diverse teams. This was very powerful. I felt like it was something I could transfer to my position. I like how they created an avatar and gave that 3D experience for interacting in the training, especially how they had the avatar had one of the people be in the shoes of someone who is diverse, the wheelchair example. I feel like that's a really good way for people to understand where other people are coming from. I also really liked how they had the leader determine the stage of their team regarding diversity, whether they were in the compliance stage or tolerance stage or the commitment, or whether they were actually using their diverse team as a business leverage. These are great categories. I think that I could actually transfer some of these categories, but maybe tweak some of the categories so that my team in the educational field understands stages of using diversity as a positive and not just tolerating the diversity of others. Some of the walls I need to break down as a leader in my district are one is I am the MTSS coordinator and I coordinate the entire district, and so elementary, middle school, and secondary teachers come with different perspectives. Also, sometimes teachers come with the perspective of only their content or their grade level. And so it kind of isolates them instead of seeing the big picture. In other words, there's this little bit of a mentality that's I'm successful in my own classroom, and so that's all I need to worry about. It creates differing systems, so students have to think about which system they have to go use to be successful in this teacher's classroom, or then the next year in this teacher's classroom, or when you get to middle school and you're going to different classrooms. Instead, I just feel like it could create a more inclusive environment if we look at how we are trying to help the student be successful everywhere they go, instead of it's almost a little bit of a selfish feel of, well, I'm successful in my classroom and that's all that matters. So that's one obstacle. Another obstacle I feel like I need to address, or my team, we all need to address, is building trust between the administrators and the teacher leaders for MTSS, because each building has a couple of coaches for academic MTSS and for behavioral social emotional MTSS. And it's something that needs to occur, is to build respect for leadership styles in each other, and also for the administration to empower the teachers to make decisions and to feel comfortable questioning, promoting that culture of open dialogue and problem solving. And in that way, you know, administration in one sense has a hard time giving up that control because they're afraid. They fear, what if a teacher makes a bad decision, it comes down to me. But instead of feeling that way, and we need that teamwork mentality of trusting each other and building that sort of culture of we're in this together. We may make some mistakes, that's okay, we'll go back and repurpose if we need to. Wrapping this up, in conclusion, my paragraph is looking ahead, actually. Some great ideas I've transferred from these sources to my own work. Obstacles are enlightenment training, barrier scenarios, and the jigsaw strategy used in the IBM video. I think training to include where each person comes from, whether it's another country or another community, is a great way to know a little more about each other and connect with one another. Also, one big obstacle teacher leaders in my district face are naysayers, or people who always seem to look at the negative side of initiatives. We don't need to recognize these secret sabotagers as people per se, but rather listen to the words and focus on learning how to bring their concerns to the forefront of the initiative as a problem to be solved, rather than just negative people to avoid. Finally, I believe using the IBM technique of the jigsaw approach, incorporating Kouzes and Posner's 5 practices when walking through obstacle scenarios, would help the teacher leaders in my district to become aware of how to lead their own school teams. and my bibliography. Hopefully you can see it in the few seconds we have left. Thank you for watching.